The book is called Training Them Wisely by Rene Christensen.
I would say that Renee's book is practical and accessible, but at the same time, there is deep theological truth. So you don't have to be a seminary student, but there are definitely things in that book that are going to make you pause and think and examine your heart. On the other hand, there are things that you're going to say, oh, I could do that. I could try that. So to me, it's a great combination of great spiritual, theological grounding, biblically grounded, with accessible, practical ideas.
If you could make the time to read this, I would. This covers all the things that we're struggling with in this season of life. It's very practical. You don't have to go out of your way. And it's encouraging. It gives you hope that you're not alone in your parenting.
What stood out to me the most about Renee's book was how practical it was. There's not many books on child discipleship that have so many details involved of just so for every age phase that the children are in that you're raising. I mean, it just was so practical and it's such a resource.
I wished I could have had this book when I was raising my 3 children, because it really has helped, and it just puts everything in the right perspective.
When I first read the first portion of her book, it spoke to me so much, because I thought, as a lot of people did, why didn't I have this when my girls were growing up?
The first day that I picked up Renee's book, it was, wow, I wish I would have had this when my older kids were younger.
It wasn't over my head. It met me right where I was at. It was practical and it was biblical, so it wasn't more of like her opinions and how she thinks that you should disciple your children. It was straight to biblical facts, and I think that that's what we need, less of people's opinions and more of what the Bible tells us on discipling our children.
So it's important that her book be read by everybody. And when I first read it, I thought, I'm going to, just peruse a book with tips and hints for moms with little children or teenagers. I was blown away by what it said to me as a mother and a grandmother. My girls can have this. My grandchildren can have this. They can read this and apply it to their lives, to anything that's going on in their lives.
Because when you think of a discipleship book, you think, oh, it's going to be deep, in depth, and you don't know what you're reading. But I didn't feel that at all. I felt it was personable, and I felt like a lot of moms will be able to use it daily, and whoever else reads it, dads or whoever, grandmas, I think it would be a great resource for all walks of life.
I would recommend Renee's book to a mom having a hard time, to a mom doing well, all of them, because there's practical daily opportunities for you to learn how to disciple your child through her book.
Thinking of Renee's book, the biggest thing that I got out of it was my relationship with God, and how that's going to be the most important thing that I can do for my kids.
Renee's book starts with the foundation of where you as a mom are with the Lord, is where the whole thing has got to begin. We can't pour into our children unless we have that relationship with God.
And when we get resources as children's ministers, here's a program, and that's not what discipleship is. Discipleship is a lifetime, and it's walking it out in a lifetime setting. For parents, they need to know it doesn't have to be perfect. And then if I miss today, guess what? God gives grace, and there's tomorrow that you can start over, right?
I love how in Renee's book she talks about how it's not a program, it's relationships. And so it's helped me to focus on taking the obligation out of discipleship and just doing it in love. And I think we forget that. We think about it as a box to be checked, and it's not. It's a relationship.
I think this day and age, we just don't have time to have anything overcomplicated.
It doesn't make you feel inadequate. It doesn't make you feel, oh, well, she did this, I need to too.
It is so doable. It doesn't have to be over somebody's head. I feel like sometimes when we write books today, we want people to know how much we know. And sometimes they're not there. They don't know those big words that we learned in seminary. They don't know the big words that are out there as the trendy words, right? So you want it to be on a level where all parents can reach it, no matter what their education level is.
That everybody needs to get the book and read it and implement it as an example.
Please, please, please buy her book. It's fabulous.